All right, guys. Good morning. Today is March 24th, and we are getting into our second week of remote learning, as you guys know. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be starting to get into some more familiar historical concepts that a lot of you have already learned about, and that we're going to start getting a little bit deeper into over the course of this week. And that's going to be the rise of fascism in Europe in between World War I and World War II. So the two leaders that we're going to focus in on today are two individuals that you guys have heard of. You've all heard of Mussolini, Benito Mussolini from Italy. At least most of you probably have, even if you don't know who he is. And then the other one that all of you have heard of, unless you live under a rock, is Adolf Hitler from Germany. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through just some really brief background information about these two fascist dictators. You guys are going to take a little bit of a look at what fascism is. And the most important thing that we're going to do today is we're going to kind of discover together why this type of political concept became popular, especially in the aftermath of World War I. And probably a lot of you guys can probably already guess that based on the content that we've covered before. So to start class, just really simply, we've been keeping it pretty simple. We're going to keep it simple today. We're going to go to the online text. And you guys are already familiar with the chapter that we've been working through very gradually here, and that chapter is chapter 31. And now today we're going to click on section 3, and we are going to start reading. And again, it's not going to take you very long. It might take you about 10 minutes. You guys are going to just scroll through fascism rises in Europe, and it's going to give you the background behind what fascism is. It gives you a really brief definition, but I want you guys to look up other definitions as well. We'll get to that when we get to the Google Doc today. And we're going to do a variation of this assignment right over here. So we're going to keep it very, very simple because I don't want to confuse you guys. So we're going to read through fascism rises in Italy. You're going to read about what the conditions in Italy were like before Mussolini took control after World War I. And it's going to give you a little bit of background of what Mussolini did when he did take control. In other words, what politically and economically and socially his approach to governing Italy were. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing with Hitler. So you're going to read Hitler rises to power in Germany. And you guys are going to read through his chancellorship. And you guys can stop right here on page 914. Okay. Where it talks a little bit about, the start of eliminating what we're going to get into the Holocaust in the next couple of weeks here, but we'll stop right here. Okay. All right. So let's head on over to the Google Doc that you guys are going to be working on. This is going to be posted in the same assignment. And when you guys take a look at this, okay, you guys can see we have a color photograph of one of the rallies, the political rallies of Adolf Hitler once he was chancellor. And the reason we know that is because we can actually see members of the military escorting Adolf Hitler. That would not have happened until after Hitler had been named Chancellor of Germany. So this is in the aftermath of him legally coming to power. Okay, and this is one of the Nuremberg rallies that we'll get into a little bit later. Okay. All right, guys, the background is pretty simple. You guys are going to read through that. Okay, you guys already know a lot about the background. Okay, I want you guys to look up your own definition of fascism. You're going to find out there's no real one basic answer to what fascism is, but everybody does agree on what different attributes a fascist government has in common. Okay, so give me 3 or 4 different attributes that all fascist states would have held in common. Okay, again, you have to read through some definitions on the internet. You guys can go on Encyclopedia Britannica. You can kind of line it up with the definition the book gives you if you want to, but I think you're going to find a better, more comprehensive definition if you go online and look it up, okay? Again, if it's something you don't understand, obviously don't use it, okay? Use something that you can actually understand. Then you guys are going to start connecting what the background between the rise of fascism is and how it's linked to what we've already talked about, okay? So linking past learning to today's lesson is going to be our critical thinking. This is on your own, and you're going to make predictions and observations just based off of what you already know. What major changes had occurred socially, politically, and economically in the aftermath of World War I that would have made many in Europe feel a sense of confusion and frustration, okay? There's been a lot of changes in the aftermath of the war. We've talked a lot about them. What were they? List them. And why would this lead a lot of people, okay, to feel like, you know what, this isn't quite going in the direction that I would like to see things go socially, politically, or economically. Okay, so why would a lot of people have that sense of detachment, so to speak, or feel what they would call disillusioned, out of place in a way in their own world? Okay, and then let's line that up with what goes on today. Okay, there are groups in society today here in the United States and other countries around the world, even democratic countries. Okay, where there are groups that also feel as though all the changes that have transpired over the past 20 years aren't good, that they haven't benefited from them. Okay, that these changes are bad, and they resent some of these changes, whether it's affected them economically or socially. Okay, what type of who feels that way, and why do they feel that way? Okay, so I want you guys to think about common life here today, here in the United States. Who are the people that you can kind of point out and say, you know what, this group of people really doesn't like the way things have been going. Okay, there's been a lot of change, and it's been rapid over the past 20 years, and these people don't see that as being positive. Okay, all right, guys. Then we're going to go into the task of identifying key similarities in the rise and leadership of fascism in Italy and Germany. Okay, so we have just a basic chart. Okay, Italy under Mussolini. You guys have already read through it at this point. And we have Germany under Hitler. You guys can go back and forth between the online text and this. And really, all I want you guys to do is just plug in, okay, the similarities between how both men came to power. Okay, what was going on in Italy and Germany prior to these men gaining political popularity? What allowed fascism to become an alternative, so to speak, a legitimate alternative, I guess, to democratic institutions in these countries. Why might people in these countries have been fed up with democracy in the aftermath of World War I? That should be something you guys should be able to figure out, especially from what we talked about. Okay. Similarities in political approach once in power. So once these guys took power, how did they approach other political opposition, people that didn't agree with them, different political parties? What was their approach there? Okay, we're going to find it's very, very similar. And then finally, similarities in approach to restoring the economy. Okay, once you guys have read, you'll understand that both men took advantage of a faltering economy in both countries. Once they took power, though, how did these guys go about trying to deliver on their biggest promise to their followers, and that was to restore the pride and the economic vitality of their nations? Okay, so you guys have a lot to do today. This is probably going to take you about 25 minutes. Okay, and I want you guys to work individually on this today. So we have a good individual understanding of how fascism as a political concept comes about in Europe, and not only that, how it is going to kind of shape the interwar period leading into World War II. Okay, all right, so have at it. And again, at the end of class, we have an exit ticket that's going to summarize everything that we've went through and talked about. Okay, I'll be online during the whole entire lesson. So if you guys have questions, feel free to click or to chime in on the stream, or you can chime in under the lesson as well. Okay, all right, good luck.